Move Me, a Brooke V. Anderson clean romance series. Written by Vanessa Somerton. Narrated by Araceli Gote. Trigger warning: domestic physical abuse. Last dance. His bloodshot eyes stare at the space just above my head. He is too drunk to focus on my eyes. This is day 3 of his bender. I stopped bracing the blow 2 years ago. I've learned it sometimes hurts less when I let my body move with his punches. I close my eyes and pretend I am floating on a cloud or swaying in the breeze in a forest. Crying makes him angrier, so I bite the inside of my cheek to keep my tears at bay. A metallic taste coats my tongue as his knuckles connect with my cheekbone. My head snaps to the right. I let it glide with the force of his punch. Thankfully, his strength is almost depleted. This one doesn't hurt as much. I'm unsure if the blood is from biting my cheek or if he has busted my lip open again. I open my eyes, daring a glance in his direction. I can read him like clockwork now. The blank stare in his eyes indicates he is another sip away from knocking himself out. The veins in his neck are no longer protruding. If I tell him I'm sorry, this will end tonight's charades. "You bitch, you're nothing but a no-good 2-bit whore," he slurs. I ignore the venom he spews at the space above my head. "I'm sorry, Chad. You're right. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me," I plead. The thought of having to say these words aloud turns my stomach. I have played this game far too long and am close to making my final escape. I need to get through the next week and I will be free. I fight back my tears as I will not give Chad the satisfaction of seeing them. My tears wouldn't be for sadness or pain. They are for my happiness, for finally having the courage to leave this son of a bitch and being 1 week shy of knowing what freedom looks like. I'm scared. Not of Chad. Not anymore. I'm afraid of the unknown of my future. Who am I without him? Where do I go from here? Can I make it on my own? My mind starts spinning. I can see his body swaying in my peripheral vision as he struggles to place his whiskey glass on the coffee table. He is so unsteady on his feet that if I nudge him, I'm sure he will tip over. I don't dare try. I'm in the home stretch now. But it doesn't stop me from playing the scene out in my mind. Could I take him? If I pushed him over, I could keep kicking him until his body stopped moving. It would be self-defense. No one would believe me, though. Chad's father would come to his rescue even after his death. His almighty father would pay off whoever he needed to clear his precious son's name and destroy mine. It's too risky. I've spent the last year planning my escape. I can't take any chances now. I keep my head down looking at my feet. Every few seconds, I challenge my timing toward his direction. After a few seconds, his empty glass is tittering on the table's edge. One loud footstep and it will come crashing down. I hold my breath watching him. He is smiling at the floor, satisfied with himself. "Alexis from the office fucked me today. She rode me like a professional bull rider. Did you know that?" His smile is laced with spittle on his lips as he shares yet another infidelity encounter. "On the chair in the corner of my office. You know, the one baby closest to the window." I nod with my head hung on the floor. "Too bad you don't know how to fuck your old man anymore. You're too busy whoring around. Alexis is a good girl," he says. His words no longer sting as he has admitted to sleeping with the secretary for the last year. I get all the scandalous details during each drunken stupor. My days of caring and trying to be something I could never be are gone. My faithfulness is irrelevant. I lift my head as I watch him stagger toward the bedroom. He has done for the night. He'll be sound asleep before his head touches the pillow. I stand in the living room and wait for his snoring. Once I hear his first jagged breath, I reach into my front pocket to touch the crumpled piece of paper I put there earlier today. I've got to keep moving forward. Standing in the bathroom mirror, I shudder at the woman looking back at me. Every time I look at myself, I see someone who was never enough. I don't recognize her anymore. The black eyes looking back at me are void of any emotion. My cheek is split open, and my lip looks like it's been through a meat grinder. I pull my first aid kit out of the back of the toilet. I made the mistake of leaving it under the bathroom sink, where it could be found. "You fucking lying bitch," he spat a few months ago when he found my face repair bag. His alcohol-free mind never remembered the abuse. He was adamant I was trying to defame his character. Likely because the abuse didn't start until he was 3 sheets to the wind. That fine line between consciousness and a blackout. Almost there. 6 more sleeps. I do my best to apply the necessary medication in hopes my face heals without scarring. I fear there is no amount of makeup to cover the damage this time. I quietly walk out the front door, listening for the sound of his snoring as I escape to the old milk box on the side of the house. I reach my hiding spot and remove my disposable phone from the little hole in the side of the house. Back in the day, milk deliveries were made to these little boxes. I grab the crumpled piece of paper and read the number I had written down earlier today. Wade's Trucking is an out-of-town moving company. They seem to have high reviews on Google and offered last-minute moving accommodations. I punch the number on the old flip phone I purchased last week at Walmart. Pay as you go, bought with cash. No trace of evidence. After 3 rings, the answering machine picks up. The woman's voice announces in a sing-song voice to leave a message after the tone. I make a mental note of their hours and will call back in the morning once their office is open. I don't want to take the chance of leaving a voicemail. I have no idea the length of Chad's abilities or the people he knows that I am not privy to. I can wait for one more day. I put the phone back into my hiding spot and quietly walk back inside. Chad's snoring sounds like a freight train. I gather my pillow and blanket and trek to the living room. There is no chance I am sharing a bed with him tonight. If I had it my way, I would escape now in the late evening under the cover of darkness. I can't, though. I must roll out my plan and ensure all my bases are covered. This must go exactly as planned for my plan to succeed. I struggle to find a comfortable position that will not put pressure on my face. I lie half on my back and half on my side. Staring up at the ceiling, despite my racing mind, I patiently await sleep to fall upon me. Tonight should be the last time Chad Shaw ever puts a hand on me again, or any other man, for that matter. Morning after. The morning sun, shining through the slits in the living room blinds, warms horizontal lines across my face. I squint my eyes as they adjust to the bright rays. I wince in pain as I try to sit up. Looking over my shoulder, I confirm what I have suspected. Chad has already left for work this morning. I gradually move into a sitting position. He did a number on me last night. I will inspect the damage later, but it hurts to take a breath. I hope I am tender and don't have another broken rib. My eyes drift across the coffee table. True to his routine, another love note rests against my candle centerpiece. My name is scribbled across the front with a heart. I cringe. I don't have time for his "I'm sorry" travesties today. I need to make a coffee and call the moving company. My plan has to work like clockwork. Otherwise, I fear I will tip him off and I might land myself in a body bag. The thought makes me shudder as I brace myself on the arm of the sofa. Moving into a standing position, I hold my left side as I walk into the kitchen. My only saving grace at this point, I won't have to deal with the abuse for the rest of the week. He will shower me with loving attention, apologies, and what can I do to make this right probing questions. I place my coffee mug under my Keurig machine and pop a new Tim Hortons K-Cup. While I enjoy the local coffee here in Salem, nothing tastes as good as coffee back home in Canada. That's where I'm headed, across the country, back to my roots. Salem is located on the north shore of Greater Boston, with just over 44,000 people. This city of enchantment and history of witchcraft is not what brought me here. I moved here 6 years ago after chasing a murder story. I'm a recognized journalist branded for my coverage of criminal cases and the justice system in Canada and the United States. A journalist needs to follow the story, and I did just that. Except, I never left once the story ended. From 1962 to 1964, the Boston Strangler was a serial killer who murdered at least 11 women. 6 years ago, Quinn Baxter murdered 3 women in a copycat fashion of Albert DeSaville, the Boston Strangler. The story went viral and media coverage spread worldwide. It wasn't enough for me to cover the story from home in Calgary, Alberta. I needed to follow the story, so I went to where the murders were happening in Salem, Massachusetts. I looked very similar to Quinn Baxter's victims. I knew coming here would be risky if I wasn't careful enough. That didn't stop me. This story would send my career on the right trajectory. I needed to knock this one out of the park to further my career into a realm I hadn't experienced before. Not long after my arrival, I fell in love with the small-town charm and the quirky people. I needed a change in my life, and Salem didn't disappoint. While working for my firm, I landed a transfer to continue my stay to provide coverage of the copycats trial, a trial that gripped the nation while the prosecution sought the death penalty. 3 weeks after the death sentence verdict was decided, I met Chad. It's been a nightmare of a roller coaster ever since. One that has me questioning how I ever got on the stupid thing to begin with. I have spent the last 3 of those years trying to find a way to get off this unreal and broken ride. I take a sip of my coffee and close my eyes. One of my favorite things is savoring my first sip of coffee in the morning while taking a minute to ground myself. I walk outside to my hiding spot to retrieve my disposable phone. I don't take the chance of making my escape phone calls on my personal cell. I wouldn't put it past Chad to have my phone bugged. Standing at the kitchen counter, I take another sip of my coffee before I start to pace the length of the kitchen. I pull out the crumpled piece of paper that still rests in my front pocket and punch in the numbers again.
Wade's Trucking,
a man answers who has a voice that sounds as smooth as honey. Hi. I want a storage locker of household goods moved from Salem to Calgary, Alberta, Canada on Friday. I know it's last minute. I'm sorry. I was hoping I could get it moved. If it's not possible, I understand. I ramble from nervousness. I silently curse myself for leaving the step to the last minute. When I moved in with Chad, he had everything we would ever need. I only brought my clothes and put the rest into storage. I was going to cut my losses and leave everything behind. Then I thought, fuck it. Why should I have to suffer more? These are my things. I carted this stuff across the country when I came to Salem. It's all I have to my name. I had been meaning to call the moving company for weeks now, but my timing has been limited and Chad has been extra clingy. I figured if it was meant to be, it would be. I moved my things from one storage unit to another 6 months ago. I wanted to test if Chad was watching me. I knew if he found out my storage locker was cleaned out, there was no way he could keep that knowledge to himself while drunk. I figured 6 months had passed, I was in the clear, and he won't know where the new location is.
Can you tell me the size of your locker unit, ma'am?
The man's question brings my thoughts back to the present. It's a 10 by 10 unit. The contents are from a small 1-bedroom apartment with a studio room.
I'm not sure I have someone with space available for that track,
he responds. Shit. Now what, I think.
Does it have to be this Friday? Could we postpone it to the following week? I could try to.
As I cut off his train of thought, he sounded like he was rustling paperwork. No, sorry, it can only be Friday. I knew this was a long shot. I'm kicking myself for leaving this detail out. Sorry to waste your... I stop talking mid-sentence as my voice starts to crack. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional right now. I knew I would likely have to leave my stuff behind, so why is it bothering me so much?
Wait,
he states. Okay.
I could do this run for you, ma'am. You'll have to pay for a full truck. I am in between loading now and wouldn't mind visiting my family in Edmonton.
You do that? Money is not an issue. Name your price. I will pay for it. I can feel the tears stinging my eyes.
Yeah, no problem. Can I have the address of the pickup location? What time do I need to be there?
His voice has gotten softer, and I can't help but wonder if he could hear the crack in my voice. I hope he doesn't start asking questions that are none of his business and ones I'm not prepared to answer. I thanked him for his help and wrote down his cell number with the promise to be at my storage locker at noon sharp on Friday. From there, I will grab a last-minute flight from the Logan International Airport and meet the movers in Calgary. I am so close to my forever freedom, and everything is slipping into place perfectly. I'll be home free with just a few more details. I put the phone back in its hiding place and put the 2 pieces of paper with it. I cannot take the chance of leaving them in my pants pocket and Chad finding them. I savor the taste of my morning coffee on my lips and can't help but smile above the mug's rim. The honey voice still lingers in my ears, a generous man who came to save the day without even knowing it. I saunter back over to the couch as I realize standing is causing more havoc on my body. I breathe through the pain, but it's not helping this time. I know better than to leave Chad's love letter untouched, so I open it and leave it on the coffee table outside the envelope. Tonight, he will bring home a dozen roses that I will put in a vase on the kitchen table and rest the note against it. It will all be left to die. The roses will accompany my favorite meal from Finn's Seafood and Grill. We will dine at home because he can't take me in public in my state. He will walk through the door with a huge smile and speak to me in a sing-song voice that makes my skin crawl. Tonight, I will have no choice but to sleep in the bed with him as he entangles himself around me, sucking the life out of me with his dead weight. We will discuss marriage and growing our family. He is a family man, he will tell me, ready to have little Mr. Chad Shaws running around this house. Not a fucking chance. His antics used to work on me 3 years ago. Today, the thought makes my heart stop. His self-righteous, narcissistic personality can take a flying hike. I'm so over it. There's a black hole where my feelings for him used to be. I sometimes fear myself and my actions because I feel nothing. I need to get away from him like yesterday. Showtime. Each day, each moment I have to endure through his company makes me sick. He should win an Academy Award for his acting skills. It's no wonder the ladies fall at his feet in awe over his southern charm. It's all an act, every last bit of it. I don't think he knows himself anymore. I took a sabbatical from work last month. I knew I couldn't give my job 100% while I crafted the final mile of my escape. I needed a clear mind. Thankfully, Barbara is highly understanding and didn't ask too many questions. I imagine she assumed I needed a break after the recent triple murder trial. She didn't pry, and I didn't offer. It worked out well. Having this extra time on my hands during the day helps to keep my plan in motion while I allow my body time to heal. I'm not sure any amount of makeup will mask the marks on my face come Friday. I will do my best and wear my baseball cap to help cover the whiskey bruises. These last few days have been hell on earth. Playing house with a monster is just about all I can take. Everything is lined up. I have one more sleep. Tomorrow is the big day, and I would be kidding myself if I didn't admit I'm scared shitless. Self-doubt and pity have almost become debilitating. Despite my year of planning, I worry it's not enough. I second-guess my steps, wondering if I have overlooked something that will lead to my demise. I run through my plan every which way to Sunday. There is no turning back now. 12 months ago, I made a vow to myself never to allow another man to have the control I gave away to Chad. I am unsure what the final straw was, or maybe it was a combination of everything. Regardless, I am grateful for the courage bestowed on me that summer afternoon 1 year ago. Tomorrow, Chad will wake up like any other Friday. He will leave for work to save the world, as he liked to call it. I will drink my coffee like I do every morning, then walk to the storage locker and kiss Salem goodbye. I smile over the brim of my coffee mug as I sit at the kitchen table. Tomorrow, I will be catching a flight back home to Calgary. My stomach does flip-flops with the thought and anticipation. I need to remind myself to be calm tonight. I cannot do anything to trip him up. Poppy doesn't know I'm coming home. I haven't seen him since Chad and I got together. He never showed an interest in getting to know my family and friends. Being self-absorbed makes it challenging to see past his current affairs. We talked about him meeting my family, but we never got around to it. Our first year together was the best we ever had. Most of the time, we spent attending business cocktail parties and functions. My job also kept me working at all hours. Chad and his father jointly own a prestigious Fortune 500 company. They are well known in the tech industry and are connected to a wealth of people. They are stuffy men with enormous egos who get their jollies from having a figurative pissing match with other men in the industry. Chad believes he is God's gift to women, and I should be thankful he even considered gifting me his time. His abuse is explained away by the pressure imposed by his father. He always had to be the best at everything. In the beginning, I felt terrible for him, sorry even. I accepted his apology and the lavish gifts that followed. He seemed sincere and ashamed of himself. He cried in my lap the first time while professing his endless love to me. I ran my fingers through his hair as I tried to console him. The attention moved away from me and my battle wounds to him and his pity party. It happened before I even knew what had transpired. Soon, another drunken stupor would be in full swing and history would start to repeat itself. Little by little, I stopped being his arm candy at his cocktail parties for work. He had to keep me confined to our home. The media would have a field day if they ever caught wind of Mr. Chad Shaw's life behind closed doors. I've dreamed of anonymously releasing a photo of me to the press or writing a cover story before running away. I've never been a vindictive person, and I feel I would get more satisfaction if I just silently exited the left stage without a word. As long as I don't leave kicking and screaming, I don't think Chad will even miss me. I am not naive enough to believe there won't be some other woman lying on my side of the bed before the weekend is through. I am only grateful that, for the last 4 years, Chad has paid all of our living expenses. His ego made him believe that my income was peanuts as a journalist. I was told to save my pennies in that pitiful look given me. Save my pennies I did. In a brown envelope hidden in the rafters of this house, I have hidden my earnings for the last 4 years to the tune of just over $300,000. My safety net is more than enough. Thank you, Chad. I smile to myself. Today, I am thankful for the separation and his lack of knowledge of my family or roots. He doesn't know about my family or that Brooke and, who he knows me, isn't even my real name. Tick-tock. It's almost time for him to make his arrival home. Yesterday, I purchased extra foundation and makeup to help hide the bruising. My eyes have turned an ugly shade of purplish orange. They are puffy and still bloodshot. Hopefully the sun works in my favor and sunglasses and my hat will cover the damage. Except for my clothes and whatever gifts Chad has given me, I have nothing to leave behind. This entire house and everything in it is his. He made me sell my old beater of a car 6 months after our courtship. He replaced it with a cherry red ragtop Corvette. Tomorrow will be easy. I have nothing to carry to slow me down. I check the clock and realize he will be home soon. I race to call Aubrey to let her know I am coming home. She is my best friend from university, and while she doesn't know the full details of my relationship with Chad, she knows enough. This tidbit of information will be very welcoming for her. I need to make sure she has my new number and never tries to contact me again on the cell phone Chad gave me. 20 minutes after my call with Aubrey ends, I can hear Chad's pickup pull into the drive. It's showtime. Day of reckoning. My heart is beating out of my chest. I can feel it beating in my ears. My hands are shaking as I try to dry myself off. You got this. I keep whispering to myself to calm my nerves. I am so scared. Today is the day I leave this life behind. Today, with the Lord on my side, I will escape without a hitch, and tomorrow I will be a free woman. It feels surreal. I cannot believe I am doing this. Chad Shaw, you can kiss my ass, I whisper as I dab the last bit of makeup on my face. Today's attire is simple yet me. A pair of jeans, flip-flops, a black tank top, and a fleece shirt over the top. Outside of the makeup required to cover my bruises, I will wear none and leave my hair down. I try to steady myself by resting my outer thigh against the edge of the bed. My stomach is doing flip-flops, and I'm incredibly close to vomiting from my nervousness. I trudge to the kitchen to make my last cup of coffee in this house. These walls never felt like home to me. It became my prison, my smoke and mirror lifestyle. A part of me will miss the historic charm of Salem, at least the part I lived in 4 years ago. My heart is not heavy from sadness. I had a great life here before Chad. I am consumed by the sadness of a life I accepted. I continue to live this lifestyle and sometimes felt I was to blame. I should have left sooner. Fear will make you do crazy things. I am living proof. As I take another sip of my coffee, I get lost in the wilting flowers sitting on the kitchen table as I run through my checklist again. I have done this 1,000 times this week, but one more time wouldn't hurt. I'm afraid I've forgotten something. I have decided not to leave a note for Chad. He doesn't deserve an explanation. If he can't figure it out, that's on him. Besides, I have no doubt he will find another flavor of the week if he hasn't already. He might even move Miss Alexis into his home when he realizes I am not here. Poor girl. I can't deny that I have thought about an impromptu visit to the office to warn her. Girl, put your fastest running shoes on. Would she believe me, though? Or would she go running to Chad? If she went running to him, would I tip him off? Would I pay the price, or would she? These thoughts leave me, the victim, to the hamster wheel of ideas that get me nowhere. I cannot save the world. I will be lucky if I can save myself. Sorry, Alexis, you're on your own. Gosh, I feel heartless. I do. She wouldn't believe me anyway, not with the charm of Chad. I highly doubt it. Stop it. You need to get you away from Chad as quickly as possible. Period. Your life depends on it. Finishing my coffee, I wash my mug and place it back in the cupboard. I grab my backpack from the couch and toss it over my shoulder. The weight of my laptop and a change of clothes rest against the lower part of my back. I trek down the basement stairs into the furnace room and lift the ceiling tile in the far corner. Standing on the 3-step stool, I reach my hand into the ceiling closest to the back wall. My fingers reach for the brown manila envelope I have kept stashed away for the last year. It's now a few inches thick. I cannot lift it from this distance, so I must drag it across the ceiling tile until it is closer to my reach. Tucking the envelope into my backpack, I place both straps across my shoulders. I push the tile back into position, ensuring nothing is out of place. The stool goes back into the little cubbyhole I retrieved it from. I take a deep breath to calm my rapid heartbeat as I race back up the stairs. I walk through each room again, double and triple checking I am not leaving anything behind. Satisfied, I place the cell phone Chad gave me and my house keys on the coffee table. I walk out the front door for the last time and make my way over to the old milk chute at the side of the house to retrieve my disposable cell phone and my notes on the scrap pieces of paper. This is it. I walk toward the bus stop just down the street from the house. I will meet the movers at my storage locker in about 20 minutes. Then I'm off to catch the ferry over to Boston. Finally, I will be homeward bound. Bodyguard. My paranoia is getting the best of me. I have looked over my shoulder 10 times in the last 5 seconds. I need to make sure I'm not being followed. I expect Chad to jump out from around a corner any minute. I realize I may have lied earlier. I am afraid of Chad. Terrified, actually. As I walk through the storage facility's main entrance, I spot Wade's trucking logo on the side of a truck at the back of the building and along the fence. I have been texting with the mover since I left the house. I'm so relieved he and his crew are on time. Picking up the pace of my stride, I pull my baseball cap lower to cover more of my face. The bright sun has allowed me extra coverage with my sunglasses, but I will lose this privilege shortly. My unit is on the 2nd floor inside the building. My hat will have to do. I can see a group of men standing in a circle with coffee at the side of the truck. Do they all travel together in that thing? I wonder. That's a tiny space for 3 grown men. Whatever floats your boat, I suppose. As I walk closer to the group, the chit-chat stops as they all turn to look in my direction. I can feel my heart in my throat as I distrust my ability to cover my bruises efficiently. I automatically pull my ball cap lower over my face. Hi, I'm Brooke. I assume you're my moving crew? I ask in the direction of all 3 of them, unsure which one is the honey voice from my earlier phone call. Yes, ma'am. My name is Rhett. The middleman steps forward and extends his hand toward me. He catches me off guard, and I don't have time to stop the slight flinch my body instinctively makes. I try to mask my reaction by holding my hand to shake his. Our eyes meet for a second before I dart mine to the ground. I notice the look in the man's eyes. A tenderness mixed with a look you'd give a wounded animal. I curse myself for my trigger response. Time seems to have stood still, and I don't know what to say or do next. I stand frozen. Brooke, right? Rhett asks in a whisper. Nodding my head, I raise my eyes from the ground to his mid-chest area. I take a moment to take in the scene of the 3 men staring in my direction, all frozen in movement, waiting for me to take control. Sorry, Rhett, you caught me off guard, I say as I clear my throat and raise my head high. No problem at all, he whispers as he raises his hands in an I come in peace stance. I'm Unit 232, 2nd floor in the back on the right. Follow me. I have a plane to catch, so I would like to make this quick. Without another word, I turn on my heels, push my shoulders back, and walk toward my locker like I own the place. Once I am a safe distance ahead, the men follow in my footsteps. I ignore the faint whispers at my back. I can't blame them. If I saw myself on the street, I'd be concerned too. I don't have time to worry about what people think of me. I'm about ready to start my new life, and nothing can stop me. As I arrive in my locker, I take the key out of the front pocket of my backpack. I remove the lock and reach for the handle to open the door. May I? Rhett takes a few steps toward me. Yeah, sure. I take a step back to give him space to open the door. Brooke, you mentioned you have a plane to catch. I know you don't know me, but I would like you to travel with me in the truck so I can get you to your destination safely, Rhett states. Sorry, what? I ask, astounded. I would like to break the kneecaps of whoever did that to you. I realize I am a stranger, but I'm concerned for your well-being. Would you allow me to drive you to your destination with your stuff here? He explains, pointing to my locker. I'm sorry, you want me to hitch a ride with you, a stranger, with 2 other men in that truck of yours across the country? I can hear my voice raising more than necessary. Who is this guy? I mutter to myself. Look, Rhett, I appreciate your concern, I do, but no thanks. I'll pass. Those 2 men are my workers, and they stay here. I have hired help in Calgary to offload at your location. There is nothing in that truck except for me and many miles ahead. I have a table with 2 benches that turn into a bunk bed setup. I have a TV, coffee machine, microwave, and fridge, everything you need at your fingertips. I don't want to pry. I want to ensure you're safe. If there is anything I can do to make sure that happens, I need to offer it. I wouldn't be a man if I didn't. He looks at me with a gentle smile. Thanks for the offer. I'm fine, I respond as my phone buzzes in my hand. Excuse me, please, I say as I read the number on my phone. My best friend, Saved by the Bell. I walk away from Rhett past his workers until I'm out of earshot, but still within the storage area. Aubrey, hi, I say as I answer in the last ring.
Hey girl, how you making out?
Good, just at the storage unit with the movers. Once I'm done here, I will catch the ferry to Boston and grab my flight.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You don't sound okay. Have you heard anything from Chad?
No, he cannot reach me.
Listen, I don't want to freak you out, but lady, I'm worried about you. I'm nervous about you traveling alone. Are you sure he hasn't followed you or hired someone to do his dirty work?
What's with everyone today? I'm a big girl. I will be fine. No, he hasn't followed me. I made sure.
Who's everyone?
Aubrey asked. What?
You said, what's with everyone today? Who is everyone?
She asked. Oh, sorry, both you and Rhett.
Who's Rhett?
Oh, the mover. He asked me to return to Calgary with him in his transport truck. I admit absentmindedly. I look up and over at the guys moving some of my stuff into the hallway. They make moving heavy stuff look so easy. I realize there is silence on the line. Aubrey? I ask into the phone.
Yes, I'm here. Just thinking.
She replies. What are you thinking exactly? I'm not sure I want to know.
Don't hate me, but, Brooke, maybe that's not such a bad idea?
She reasons. Not you too, Aubrey. I don't know the guy. You want me to hitch a ride with a stranger?
Well, no, but, yes. At least I would know you're safe, and there would be no chance of Chad catching up to you at some point. What if he is waiting for you at the ferry or the airport? Brooke, I don't trust that man and wouldn't put anything past him.
She tries to convince me. Listen, I've got to go. I will call you soon, okay?
Brooke, please think about it. He's a professional mover. He has to check in with his dispatch team and stuff. He might be a stranger, but he is also the one man who can bring you back home alive. Think of him as your bodyguard, yeah?
She's pleading fast on the phone before I end the call. Love you, woman. See you soon. I hit the end button before she has a chance to respond. Everything okay over there? I holler in Rhett's direction. All good. Why don't you wait in the truck? He yells back from inside the locker. Wait in the truck? Is this guy for real? I can't just go sit in a stranger's truck. Wouldn't that be a bit weird? My mind is spinning. I'm not sure what to do with myself. I lean against a cement wall for now, watching the workers. Aubrey and I met at university. We are 2 peas in a pod and have been inseparable for years, except when I moved out to Salem. At first, she was upset with me but understood my need to follow the story. I was trying to make something of myself, and she knew this feeling too well. We've stayed in sporadic contact since my move. I haven't shared the details about my relationship with Chad. She knows he is controlling with a bad temper. She has no idea about the physical abuse. I figured I would share these details with her when I was back home. Part of me feared she would be on the next plane out to see me, or worse, alert Poppy. I couldn't stand the thought of Poppy learning the truth. I can only hope my scars are healed when I reach Calgary. If I went my way, I'd be back home much faster than if I traveled with Rhett. Maybe for healing purposes, Aubrey's crazy idea isn't so bad. Shit. Maybe Aubrey is right. Perhaps this would be the safest route. I know I've gotten this far without seeing Chad, but how do I know he wouldn't find me somewhere else before I'm on the plane? What if he did? Would I live to see another day? Is this a risk I'm willing to take now that I have an alternate option? I run my fingers through my hair as I think through every scenario. If I'm being candid with myself, I'm scared. Scared shitless. Chad will find me and this will all be for nothing. As much as I want to be strong, I'm shaking inside. I'm unraveling faster than I can hold myself together. I don't remember the last time I slept. The feeling of complete exhaustion creeps over me. I press my back against the cool, almost damp wall and become mindful of my breathing. I need to ground myself fast. I can feel the tears start to well in my eyes, and the heavy feeling of being overwhelmed makes me struggle for air. I am having a panic attack. Hey, Brooke, are you okay? The honey voice pushes my thoughts away. Oh, hi, sorry. I was enjoying the coolness of the wall. I do my best to smile. We're going to start loading the truck now. Your locker is empty. I wasn't sure if you needed to do anything at the front desk. Rhett questions. Oh, thank you. No, I'm good. I've already paid. I push myself off the wall and look out over the horizon. Rhett, I want to make you a proposition. Okay, I am listening. I don't think I've been propositioned by a woman before. He responds as a smile creeps across his face. I'd like to hire you to be my bodyguard, I state. Brooke, you don't need to hire me. I would do it voluntarily if I could keep an eye on you and know you're safe. Not an option. I will hire you. $30,000 plus the original cost of the move for your services to bring me home. How long will it take to drive in your truck? 3 to 4 days, depending on how many stops we make, he responds. Fine. Do we have a deal? You're my hired bodyguard for the next few days. Are you sure there's enough room for me in there? I ask. Yes, to both of your questions. He releases a sigh before he responds. Good, I say as I hold out my hand to shake on our deal. He reaches out and shakes my hand. I take a deep breath and realize my emotional baggage suddenly feels much lighter. I'm going home. There is nothing Chad can do about it. Why don't you check out your new living quarters while we load the truck? I will turn on the air conditioning to help keep you cool. You can make yourself comfortable and settle in. He is still holding my hand as he finishes his sentence. I let it go and put my hands in the back pockets of my jeans. Rhett, I have a problem. This detour in my plan was very unexpected. I don't have clothes or toiletries for the next few days. Don't worry, your pretty little head. I will take you to the mall once we get out of Dodge. Is that okay? Sounds perfect. I give him a slight nod with a smile. I can't believe this is happening. Have I lost my freaking mind? I've just hired a bodyguard. How surreal is this? I turn my back to him and his crew as I make my way toward the truck. Rhett follows me out of the building, already jumping into character. He helps me climb into the passenger side of his big rig before he fires up the engine. To my surprise, he is right. It's pretty spacious in here. I've never been inside a long-haul truck before, and I didn't realize how similar it feels to a mini bedroom in the back. Brooke, when I close the door, can you please lock them both? I need to get back to the guys to help them move everything. I will have my eyes off you for a bit. I'd feel better if I knew no one could get inside. He calls out to me from outside the truck. Sure thing, I respond as I walk toward the front, following his instructions. Since I'm just over 5 feet tall, I can stand inside this truck without issue. I don't even need to bend down. I smile as I realize this might not be such a bad idea. Locking both doors, I trek my way back to the bench seat and put my bag beside me. I pull out my cell phone and decide to call Aubrey back. I don't want her worrying about me.